chapter here, I wanted to talk to you today about one of the skills that I've had to learn how to develop that has become the most important skill, or one of the most important skills of my business and managing it, and that's creating a paper trail. So I know in the world of digital world and how we're moving to everything being on shared drive, the idea of creating a paper trail probably sounds a little archaic, but we're using paper trail as a term to define what we're doing. It doesn't actually have to be a pen and paper trail. It can be completely digital. It can be however it works best for you. The idea is to create a routine where you can track every phone call, every email that you sent in a day, the projects that you worked on, and the meetings that you had, so that if you or someone else had to recreate your days, they could. And let me tell you, this has saved my rear end on more than one occasion. When I've had a client say, you were supposed to call me back on this date and you didn't, I can say, oh, well, I called you back at this time, and I left messages with this person. I'm really sorry that you didn't get them. Now, you want to say that with empathy, but it's very powerful when you can say, I did what I said I was going to follow through on. I'm sorry that it didn't go through, but I did do it. And so this has really saved my career and my bacon on several occasions. It's also helped if I've ever had to take leave, or the couple times my mom has had to step in and fill in for me. She can look at my planner and my notes and know exactly where I am. So here are my seven, so hard to say this, 7 favorite paper trail tips. So the first is to use a planner. Now, it can be a digital planner, it can be a paper planner. Me personally, I prefer a paper planner. I have to write everything out. It just lets me visually see and process what's going on in the day. Well, in that planner, I always write down everyone that I call and the time that I called them on, and if I left a message or didn't leave a message, or if I got through to them. I also write down the people that I sent emails to. It just helps me track it a little bit quicker. I also use my planner to keep appointments, so you know if I went to that appointment or not. I never erase anything. If a meeting gets canceled, I just write canceled on it. And then in that same planner is my to-do list. So it might sound a little chaotic, and it probably is, but it's what works for me. So in one place, you can see everybody that I talk to or touch base with, and you can recreate my day. I can't tell you how many times that saved my bacon when I've been able to go back through and say, I did send that email when I was supposed to. Perfect. And so it's just one concise place to keep all my notes. And you can do the exact same thing in a digital planner. The second is when you're working on a project, keep all your notes in one place. So for me, what I do is I create a file in my Google Drive, and every single thing that I do goes into that file. So if it's notes from a meeting, if it's papers that I've scanned in, whatever it has to do with that project goes into that file on my Google Drive, and I do it immediately. I don't wait to do it. The reason is if I wait, it becomes this time-consuming chore that I never want to do, and I don't do it, and I lose something. But if I do it right away, it takes less than 5 minutes, and I know everything is safe and secure in that one file. And it just empowers me to work through my projects a little bit faster. But then also, if I get a new project that's similar to an old project, I know where to look to find my notes. The second is when I've had a receptionist or secretary, I always save all of the messages that they give to me, especially little pieces of paper. When they, leave me a note that so-and-so called or so-and-so stopped by, I save all of those messages. So that way, if somebody says, well, I stopped by, you're like, well, I don't have that note, so I guess you didn't. And I never say that to a client's face, but it's really saved my bacon on understanding who was in when, or if people really did receive a message, or even worse, if my receptionist wasn't doing their job and didn't let me know that people had come, which has happened on more than one occasion. So this is just kind of a great checks and balances when you have that receptionist. 4, I already went over, which is tracking the emails that you send in your planner. 5 is creating a filing system and sticking to it. So no matter how hard we try to go digital, we're always going to have some pieces of paper that we're going to have to create files for. So my recommendation is find a filing method that works for you with that paperwork, and then every day before you go home, file those papers away. Or anytime you need a break, or anytime you just need to check out for a minute, take that time to file that paper. And if you do it every day, you're going to spend 3 to 5 minutes filing and always know where everything is versus hours and hours and never knowing where anything is. Number 6 is make sure that there are accessible notes to locate items in your filing system and that your cloud should be available all the time. Now, because I do put things in Google Drive, not that I've ever had Google fail, I'm not suggesting that Google would ever fail, nor am I putting anything out into the universe to say that Google would fail. I do back up everything that I keep on the Google Drive on an external hard drive. And this is actually super helpful because then if I need to email a series of documents, they're already downloaded, or if I scanned them in, I have them in 2 places. I just have found that to be a really good checks and balance to make sure that my files are comprehensive and backed up. And then 7 is whatever habits that you create to track what you do in a day and to track your paperwork, be consistent and do it all the time. That's the best one that I can give you. But we've got to be able to create these paper trails and reconstruct our days. It helps us when we lose something. It helps us when somebody says, "Hey, I stopped in to see you," or it just helps us when we're working on really big projects to organize our thoughts and our ideas. The more organized and orderly our days and desks are and our planners, the more we can spend that brain energy on thinking, on being creative, and on solving incredible projects. So those are just some tips that I use to manage my life. And I will tell you, I use one planner, and in that planner, I do all of my 3 Raptor consulting work and scheduling. I do all of my freelance writing scheduling and billing, and then I also keep all of my personal items in there, which with 3 rescue dogs and a very active teenage daughter can be a lot. But for me, having one calendar that my entire life is in helps me balance out my days, helps me make sure I don't miss any deadlines, and helps me recreate what was going on and when I was in a different location for a meeting and might have misplaced a note and where that might be. So just some tips. I hope that really helps you. I hope you're enjoying these videos and that they're inspiring you and giving you something new to try to help you have a better and more successful workday. So with that, I'll talk to you soon.